Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 4, Episode 201. It is 6 a.m. We are just leaving home. We're going to head to the office first and do what we always do on Friday, which is scan our card, go upstairs, go down the steps on the other side of the building, and go out the back door. And it will show up that we were at the office today. And then we will be going for a long drive today. You know, I contemplated a lot of different places to go today, but there's only one clear choice, I think. I like the area that I was at yesterday, but every time I want to go to a different casino, I'm driving 100 miles. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It really wears you down. You get to sit in the car for a couple hours and then play, couple hours, play, couple hours. It's just pretty annoying. I don't mind going 3 to 4 hours and then having a couple casinos and then an hour and a couple casinos. But our first thing that we're going to do is go to the office, like I said. Yesterday was a decent day. Ended up making about $1,000 despite the start that we had. You know, I think it was okay considering the day before was so bad and yesterday was so bad. And then we did have a profit yesterday, and I feel like we have the momentum and we'll try to build on it today. Right now it's 65 degrees. Today it's going to be 88 for the high. And actually, I gotta say, except for a little while yesterday, I had some good luck with the air conditioning in the car. Nobody knows what's wrong with it. I feel like it's overheating because I have it on full blast, lowest temperature all the time because I like it cold. So what I started to do is keep track of when it's starting to have a problem. And it seems like if I have it full blast for about 40 miles, that's when it starts having an issue. So I'm trying to just maybe have it at 65 degrees and maybe not full blast, and it seems to be working. So hopefully that happens today as well. But let's get started with our day, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, real quick correction from yesterday. I said that my first stop yesterday I was down 581. I was actually down 481. So not that much better, but it's actually 481. So just wanted to make that correction. Alright guys, bear with me here. I've got a lot to discuss. It is about 4 o'clock right now. I got to this casino about 10:30, 10:40 a.m. I had a couple meetings, all these different things happened, but I never stopped and did the recording. So I'm going to do my best here to piece it all together here, and hopefully it makes sense. So I am about 20 minutes away from the casino at 10 a.m. when my meeting starts. So I pull over and sit in a parking lot and start my meeting. Well, a bunch of stuff gets started and it's going to take a while, and I know it's going to take a long time before they get to me. So initially they had asked me for my opinion on some things, and then eventually they moved on to other topics. So I decided to drive to the casino, and I had about a 20-minute drive. I figured that I had enough time. So I drive to the casino, get to the parking lot, and finish up the meeting. I do my part after I get there. Everything is fine, no noise in the background or anything. So all that's good. And then the meeting finishes up a little bit early, and I go into the casino. So I look around the slots first, and I find, what did I find? Can't recall. Oh yeah, I forgot I did. I won some earlier. I think I recorded it here. Yeah, I did find one or two plays, and I ended up ahead $35 on the slots. Then I went to blackjack, and with the meeting finishing early, not all the tables were open yet. So I ended up on a $50 table, and I spread one hand at 50 to one hand at 700. and bought in for 1,500 before initially winning my first hand. Hooray! The streak continues. It's been some bad stuff happening here, so just getting beat to death, and counts going up and I'm losing, counts going up and I'm losing, and before you know it, I'm involved for like 3,500, and now the count really starts to go up. So now I'm starting to get their attention, because instead of buying in, I think I was in for 3,000, and from 3,000 on, I was buying in 1,000 at a time, because I'm putting big bets out there. So 1,000, go ahead. 1,000, go ahead. And then there was one hand. I actually did 2 hands at 500. So I guess that was the peak. But mostly it was, except for that one hand, I did one hand at 700. Anyway, and that hand was a double down, and I forget if I won or lost it, because so much action was going on. I don't even remember. I remember having a big hand. I think it was a 400. I was going 50, 200, 400, 700. So true 2, true 3, true 4, and higher. So I think I had a $400 hand out there and got 8s, split it, got another 8, and ended up losing all those. I had another hand where I had 4 9s total. 3 of them were 9 of spades. I split all those to 4 hands. I doubled one of them and lost all of them. Actually, I pushed one, the one I doubled, and I lost the other 3. It was just really, really bad. And I started then one of my favorite dealers gets there, and at this point, I'm not in a good mood to talk. I'm not excited to talk to anybody, and so I'm max betting for a long time, and then the shoe ends. So I'm betting 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, and then the shoe ends, and then so I drop down to 100 instead of 50, and then the count starts going up again. Luckily, I start raising my bet, but at the end of that shoe, I was involved for a total of 6,000. At the end of this shoe, I'd gone from being down 5,000 to being down 800. And so we start the next shoe, and the count goes up a little bit, but not too much. So I keep the bet out there. I raise it to 200, and I'm chopping back and forth for a long time. And then finally I have a little bit of a break, and it starts getting better, and then I finish a shoe ahead $100. So now I'm ahead only $100, and I got to figure out what to do from here, because the new shift has already started, so I'm not fooling anybody. And the pit bosses in this pit are the ones who run breaks in the other pit, so I'm not doing anything there. So I had to figure out what to do, and I had a lot of chips. So I ended up, I had 6,100. I'm trying to remember the breakdown. I believe I cashed out 2,500 at one cashier, and then I refused to go to the other cashier because I've been watched lately when I've been cashing out. So instead of going to the other cashier, I went to the poker room and sat down. And see, now this guy, there's a guy on the side of the road, and he's got flares, and he just moved the car over, but the flares are still in the road, which will pop your tire if they're lit and you go over them. But anyway, so I go to the poker room, and I put 2 purple chips out, and I say, let me have what did I say, 700 cash and 300 in red. And I went to a 1-3-5 table again with this 5 because they don't want to mess with white chips as much, so that's why they're doing this, and I'm just realizing this. So 1-3-5 table, I sit down, I start to play, and I'm hanging around 0 the whole time. I'm down as much as like 150, I'm up as much as like 150, and then I realized that I had a meeting coming up. So that meeting was at 1 o'clock, which means I played that blackjack for like over 2 hours. Is that right? Is that even possible? 11, 12, 1. No, I played that blackjack for a little over an hour. Because I played the poker for the other part. Anyway, I realized I got a meeting in like 30 or 40 minutes, and I'm just taking it easy, trying to figure out ways to cash out my chips. And then time runs out. I have to go to my meeting. So I cashed out my 300 that I started with. I had a profit of 64. That's 364, and I added a purple chip in there, so that's 864. And I believe with that, if my math is right, I think I had $2,000 left. So $2,000 left, and I go do my meeting. After my meeting, I come back, and I'm looking around, and the only thing available is a $15 blackjack table. Shoot. What did I do with that thing? There it is. I accidentally unplugged my mouse jiggler. There we go. That's better. I don't want to show it's not working. That would be a shame. So there was only a $15 table that was available, and there was a side bet that was in range, so I was going to play that. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting until it gets closer. I buy in with a purple chip, and I end up losing that on a $15 table. And I spread 50 to 300 on that table. I'm sorry, 15 to 300. So I lose the 500, and then the side bet pays, and I hadn't even started to play it yet, so I missed out on that. And then lose another 500, rebuy for a third 500, and then an Asian lady comes to the table, and a guy with a shirt that said "I love global warming" comes to the table, and then another Asian lady comes to the table, and I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. So I ended up leaving that table down 1,300. But I mean, what else could I do? I played with them for about 5 minutes or so, and it was just such agony. There were no more tables. Time was getting late. I should have been out of here a long time ago. So I ended up leaving that table minus 1,300. So that puts us down, whatever, 1,100 for the day at that point. Then I go play some slots, and the ride really starts. I thought that the ride was over after the $6,000 entry and the $1,300 loss, but no. So let's talk about what happened after that. I go to a slot machine, and I know that it's going to take forever, but it's a high denomination, and I want to get my blackjack money back, so I start playing it. $10 a spin, and I start with 300, lose that, put in 200 more, and lose that, and buy in for, I ended up buying in on that machine for a total of $2,000. And then things started getting a little bit better, and back and forth and up and down. You don't want to hear all this and go on forever and ever. But it just kept on dragging on and on and on. But I'm slowly picking up steam, making a little bit of money back slowly. And finally, when it hits, I end up with a profit on it. A profit of $58. Hooray, $58. All you had to do is risk $2,000 and you won $58, which puts you down $1,000 for the day plus 1,000 or 11. Pretty much whatever I won yesterday is what I just lost at that stop. So, all right, well then it was time to go. So I'm getting ready to leave. I go to the kiosk. I put in my voucher for $2,058 and swing and a miss. It says you have to go to the cashier. Well, going to the cashier is not an option, because going to the cashier means I'm going to need my ID, and I'm not going to do that. So I had this bright idea. I thought, okay, well, it's probably because the voucher is over $2,000. I'll just get it under $2,000. Well, how can I get it under $2,000 without losing money? Well, I had an idea. They had a roulette machine. I know. It gets worse and worse and worse. I go to the roulette machine. There's two of them right next to each other. I put the $2,058 voucher in one of them. I put the $100 voucher, a $100 bill in the other one. And the plan was to bet 100 on black on one of them and 100 on red on the other one on the same wheel. And I had a 5% chance of losing all of it, but I had a 95% chance of not losing it. I had a 47.5% chance of getting the money to the other voucher, bringing my voucher down to $19.58, and I had a 47.5% chance approximately of bringing this voucher up to $21.58. So maybe not the brightest idea, but I really couldn't think of anything else at the moment. So I push the $100, I push black, and I go to the other one, I push the $100, I push red, and the red doesn't go on. Why, you might ask? Well, because you only get 15 seconds to put your bet in. So what happened? Well, black did not win, the red won. So I lost the 100, and I didn't win the 100 on the other side. So now my voucher is below 2,000, and I had a $100 voucher, and I had a 1958 voucher, but it cost me $100. So just to be angry, I put the $100 on red on the next spin. No, I put it on black on the next spin on the other voucher, and luckily black came up. Not the brightest idea. The idea of putting it in both of them at the same time was not terrible, but anyway, I ended up with a voucher for $19.58 and a voucher for $200. I put the $200 voucher in the machine, pays me $200. I put the $19.58 voucher in the machine, it spits it out. Well, the threshold was not 2,000. The threshold was 1,500. And so I started thinking, and I'm like, wait a minute. Somebody told me that there's one machine in the high limit area that you can cash over 1,500. I'm like, let me just run over there and do that, and we'll be okay. So there's two machines there. I put it in the first one, it spits it out. I'm like, well, I don't know, let me try this again. I put it back in again, it takes the voucher, I'm able to cash it out. I'm able to cash out all the money, and except for the change, because it doesn't do change in that machine. And then I took the 41 cents that was left, I went over to the machine by the cashier, and I cashed out the 41 cents, and I finished another long, disgusting chapter in this long, disgusting week where I had 3 days of terrible things happening, and we'll get through it. Luckily, we had made some money yesterday, and I don't even think I'm down for the week, even with all the stuff that happened. I might still be up for the week, so I'll have to check that out. But the week has started really well, if you remember. I had a $2,000 slot win, I had some poker wins, I had some other stuff happen. I think I had a $1,000, $1,100 poker win, so a lot of things had happened, and everything didn't turn out the way I was hoping. With that great start, I thought we would cut into our deficit of where I want to be by this point in the year, but it could have been a lot worse, and I have to hand it to myself leaving the table when I was down 1,300 because it didn't make sense to stay there. I'm kind of proud of myself for doing that. Time wasn't good. I didn't want to rush myself and all that, and I think I did the right thing leaving. Unfortunately, the slot machine didn't work out. I didn't get the big payout that I was hoping for, but at least we got through it. So that is what is happening right now. Let me take a little break here, drink my protein shake, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I had a little bit of time to compose myself here, and someone at the office just gave me a ton of work to do, which I did the same work for them last weekend, and then now he rejected all of it and changed his mind, and he wants it a different way, so I have to do it all over again. So it's at least an hour and a half of work. So I will be doing that this weekend. But I was thinking back to the play, and man, it was like day and night. When things were going well, I was hitting $700 hand after 700 after 700 after 700. When I was losing, I was just getting pummeled, splitting, $400 hands, doubling down, losing, 220s, losing, everything that could go wrong. And it's something that it's only happened this week. I haven't really seen it this way in a long time, where just on the big bets, on the high counts, I'm getting these splits and doubles, and the dealer's drawing 4 and 5 hands. And I haven't seen it for a long time, since I stopped going to the one casino that I thought was cheating, if you remember right. And I'm still working on that AI stuff to prove that it's possible, but I'm not quite there yet. We'll talk about that another time. But anyway, I wanted to say that on the first table, the only hand that put me ahead for the session was the last hand at the end of a shoe. And on the second table, I was never ahead, not ever, not $1 ahead ever. I got not even close to even. Once I rebought, I never got within $500 even. So it was just one of those crazy days. Right now, like I said, it's pushing 4:30, and I haven't eaten. I just had the protein shake, but I want to stop and get some food. I know I'm going to be going home here and get dinner there, but I just don't want to be starving the whole way there. I need to stop for gas in a little bit, so again, for gas. So I will do that and get some food at that time, and then we'll continue on here. So yeah, just all these flood of images coming to mind, and the pit boss is staring at me, and I'm like, what do you want from me? Well, you heard that alert. There's an 8-minute slowdown in 5 miles, and you're still on the fastest route, so that's nice. All right, we're gonna go through this, and I'll come back and update you. All right, guys, I am back. Stopped in, got some fuel while I was there. I got some Chipotle, and heading toward home. Still shaking my head. It's been a crazy week. Very unhappy with the way that things went. I'm trying to think of things I could have done differently, and I don't really see it. Especially like today, leaving down 1,300. I mean, I could have stayed longer, but I'm gonna get like no money. I'm not gonna make anything at that table, and it's just gonna get busier and busier as it gets closer to Friday night. So I think leaving like that was okay. I normally wouldn't do that, but I think it's all right. So I had a nice comeback earlier. I have to look at the bright side. I am planning a trip to Atlantic City. That may be next, or a different trip. It's about an 8-hour drive, maybe 9-hour drive each direction. So I may be doing that instead. So we'll see which one comes first. I'll plan it out this weekend, and we'll execute next week, most likely, one or the other. And just got to talk with the wife and see what's going on. It won't be next week. It'll have to be the week after or the end of next week. Could be like I could leave Thursday night next week, or I could leave the week after on Wednesday. So we'll see. One of those will come, and yeah, new area, more different potential, maybe not more potential, and we'll see what happens with that. I'll get that all planned out this weekend. Right now we have a lot of stuff to do at home. I'm going to focus on that and put everything in my spreadsheet, analyze everything, and look over it a million times like I do, and then I'll catch up with you guys on Sunday. Chipotle was good. Pretty ordinary, a 9 on a scale of 2 through ace. I did get a little tiny scoop of rice because I haven't had rice in so long, And tip-wise, we tipped 0. And what do we learn? I'm kind of not in the mood to learn right now, but I feel like I learned that patience has its place. And this morning I had high counts. I continued to play, and it paid off. And then this afternoon I was in a bad situation and I left, and I think that was the right thing to do too. So although we didn't come out with the numbers that we wanted, we might still be ahead for the week. I'm not sure yet, but I'll check out the numbers and see. I think it'll be kind of close, but we might be ahead. So I'm going to let you go for now. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.